The forgotten relic the galaxy had long forgotten about Earth. Once humans had dreamed of greatness, building ships that could rival the stars. But centuries of silence had turned that dream into a memory. Other species rose, proud empires ruled, and humanity became nothing more than a fading whisper. In the outer orbit of Earth, hidden by shadows, there was a relic. A massive warship, built in a time of fear and hope. It was called the Titan, a prototype created when Earth feared invasion. But the invasion never came, and the Titan was left unfinished, abandoned. For decades it drifted in silence, gathering dust and rust. Aliens who spied on Earth mocked it, calling it a floating coffin. To them, it was proof that humans were weak, unable to finish what they started on Earth itself. The people had almost forgotten it too. The younger generations thought of it as a myth. Only a few old commanders and engineers still remembered the truth. They knew the Titan had been built with technology far beyond its age. Systems that were dangerous, powerful, and forbidden, but no one dared to touch it. The governments were too busy surviving. The world had no unity, no strength to awaken the relic. That was until Commander Elias appeared. He was not the strongest nor the richest, but he carried something different inside him. He carried belief. Elias had studied the archives. He had seen the hidden blueprints. He knew that the Titan was not just a forgotten dream. It was a monster sleeping in the dark, waiting to wake. When news spread that the Empire was moving its fleets toward Earth, panic rose. The Empire was cruel, arrogant, and merciless. They had destroyed worlds and enslaved countless species. To them, Earth was a weak planet, easy to crush. They laughed at the thought of humans resisting, and their spies sent messages back, saying Earth had only one warship, a broken, rusting hulk that could not even fire. The Empire laughed louder. The Titan, to them, was a joke, but to Elias it was hope. Elias gathered a small team of loyal engineers and soldiers. They boarded the Titan in secret. The ship was cold and silent, its corridors filled with dust, wires hanging loose. Its engines had not roared in 100 years, yet as Elias walked through its halls, he felt something alive. The walls hummed softly, as if the ship itself had been waiting for someone brave enough to touch its heart. The engineers worked day and night. Systems flickered, screens came alive. Old machines coughed and breathed again. Every spark of light inside the ship felt like a heartbeat returning. Still, the task was endless. The Titan was huge, its systems complex and alien even to humans. It had been built with technology Earth had barely understood at the time, and now, after so many years, the knowledge had been lost. But Elias refused to give up one night. As storms raged over Earth below, the ship shuddered. The main core lit up with a faint glow. The hum turned into a growl. Elias stood at the command bridge, watching as screens illuminated one by one. The Titan was waking. The old beast was not dead, it was only sleeping. And now it was opening its eyes. The galaxy outside did not notice yet. The Empire's fleets were still preparing. Their generals still mocked, their soldiers still laughed. But far away in the shadow of Earth, something had changed. A forgotten relic had stirred, and its awakening would shake the stars. Elias placed his hand on the console. The ship responded with a pulse of light. It was as if it had recognized him, as if it had been waiting for this moment. He whispered to himself, "They think we are weak, but they have no idea what is coming." The Titan's engines roared for the first time in a century. The stars trembled. The void carried the sound of thunder, and deep inside, Elias knew the forgotten relic was ready to fight, not as a coffin, not as a joke, but as Earth's answer to the arrogance of the Empire. The beast had awoken, and the galaxy would never laugh again. The Empire's arrogance. The Empire stretched across half the galaxy. Its fleets were countless, its armies unchallenged for centuries. No one dared to stand against it. Planets surrendered at the sight of its banners. Civilizations crumbled before its cannons. The Empire called itself eternal, invincible, unstoppable. When word reached the Imperial Court that Earth was resisting, laughter filled the halls. The Emperor himself scoffed at the thought. "To think these primitives imagine they can fight," he said. His generals bowed and smiled, agreeing with every word. They displayed holograms of Earth, its small fleets, its crumbling cities. To the Empire, it was not a war. It was a hunt in the Great War Council. The Empire's admirals prepared their strategy. One spoke proudly. "Earth has nothing but scraps," another sneered. Their greatest treasure is an old coffin drifting in orbit. The room filled with mocking laughter. The Titan was a subject of jokes. They even made wagers on how quickly it would fall apart when faced with real weapons. Yet not all were blind. Among the generals sat Admiral Kor, an old warrior who had fought many battles. He had seen civilizations rise and fall. He had learned never to underestimate desperation. Do not mock too soon, he warned. Even a cornered prey can bear its fangs. But his words were ignored. The younger admirals laughed at him. Calling him paranoid, the Emperor silenced Kor. Declaring Earth would be a lesson to other worlds, no mercy, he said. The galaxy must see what happens when insects resist lions. And so the fleets were prepared. Thousands of ships, from swift destroyers to massive carriers, a storm of fire and metal moving toward a single world. The Empire called it justice, but in truth it was arrogance. They believed Earth would surrender at the first sight of their banners. They believed humans would kneel as all others had done before. News of the coming fleet spread across the stars. Alien traders whispered of Earth's doom. Smugglers laughed, saying they would soon buy human slaves in markets. No one believed humanity could resist, no one, except Elias and his small band aboard the Titan. Inside the warship, the awakening continued. Engines hummed with growing strength. Weapons that had slept for generations came alive. The crew worked with sweat and fire in their eyes. Every spark of energy, every glowing screen filled them with hope. But outside, the Empire's arrogance grew heavier. The first scouts of the Empire reached Earth's orbit. They circled the planet with ease, mocking the human defenses. One scout captain sent a message across the stars. They have nothing, he said. The coffin still floats, silent and broken. The Empire laughed louder. The Emperor declared a feast in advance of the victory. The people of Earth were already counted as slaves, but something strange happened. One by one, the scouts began to vanish. Their signals went silent. Their ships disappeared into the void. The Empire thought it was malfunction. They laughed again, but Admiral Kor frowned. He knew silence in war was never simple. Something was stirring in the dark. Something the Empire was too proud to see. The fleets pressed forward, arrogant and blind. They sent messages of surrender to Earth. Bow before the Emperor or burn, they declared. But on the Titan's bridge, Elias read the threats with a steady gaze. The crew around him smiled grimly. The ship's systems had reached 70%. The relic was no longer sleeping, it was rising, and its first roar would silence the galaxy. While the Empire prepared to celebrate their easy conquest, Elias whispered to his crew, "They believe we are weak. Let us show them what weakness truly means." The Titan's weapons pulsed with light, hungry for the battle to come. The forgotten relic had become Earth's last hope. And soon, the Empire's arrogance would turn into terror. Awakening the beast, the Titan was no longer just a relic. Deep inside its heart, the ancient system stirred with life. Circuits glowed, conduits thrummed, engines rumbled like sleeping giants. For the first time in a century, the warship felt alive. Commander Elias stood on the bridge, watching as the displays brightened. Old screens once covered in dust now burned with clear symbols. Maps of the stars stretched across the panels. Weapon indicators blinked green one after another. The crew gasped as the power readings climbed. It was as if the beast itself was stretching after a long sleep. But the Titan was more than a ship. It was a creation from a forgotten era, back when humanity had feared enemies they had not even met yet. The engineers of that age had poured all their genius and fear into this single vessel. They had designed weapons that no other race in the galaxy had ever seen. They had built engines that could tear through the void like lightning. They had given the Titan a purpose, to protect Earth at all costs. That purpose still lived. Burning inside the core, Elias felt it. The ship was not just a machine. It was something more. It reacted to his voice, his touch, his presence when he gave commands. The ship answered instantly. The crew looked at each other with awe, whispering, "It's like the ship knows him," they said. And in truth it did. For the Titan had been built with a secret interface, a link between mind and metal. Only those who believed in Earth's survival could awaken it fully. And Elias was that man outside. The Empire's scouts still hovered in orbit. They sent mocking messages, laughing at the sight of humans inside their coffin ship. They did not know that the coffin's lid was already breaking open. They did not see the glow spreading along the hull. They did not hear the engines thundering louder with each passing second. The first weapon to awaken was the rail cannon, a weapon larger than anything humanity had ever built before. Its barrel stretched across the length of the ship, glowing faint blue. The engineers stared at the readings in disbelief. "This could cut a battleship in half with a single shot," one whispered. But Elias did not fire yet. He was patient. He wanted the Empire to come closer. He wanted their arrogance to blind them. Only then would the Titan bare its fangs. The second system to return was the cloaking field. Invisible energy wrapped around the Titan, bending light, twisting signals to the Empire's scanners. The ship vanished. One moment it was there. The next it was gone. The scouts panicked, shouting into their comms, "Where did it go?" "It's gone, it's gone." The Empire dismissed them, calling them fools. But Admiral Kor, watching from afar, grew silent. His instincts told him the beast had woken. Back on Earth, people looked up at the night sky. For the first time in generations, they saw a streak of light moving across the heavens. The Titan's engines burned with golden fire. Children pointed and cheered, old veterans wept. Hope spread like wildfire across the world. The forgotten relic was no longer forgotten. It was humanity's shield, and soon it would be humanity's sword. Elias stood tall at the command chair, his voice firm. "Crew, listen to me," he said. "This ship is not just metal, it is the spirit of Earth. We are not fighting for glory. We are not fighting for power. We are fighting for survival. For every child who looks at the stars and dreams, we will not let the Empire take that dream away." The crew shouted in unison, their voices shaking the walls. "For Earth," they cried. Their hands moved across consoles, activating more systems. Shields shimmered into existence, stronger than anything they had ever seen. Drones launched from hidden bays, circling the Titan like guardians. The beast was fully awake now, and it hungered for battle, far across the void. The Empire's grand fleet entered the system. Row upon row of warships filled the darkness, their lights like burning stars. Their weapons bristled, their arrogance unshaken. They did not know what was waiting. They did not believe humans could stand against them. But hidden in the shadow of Earth, cloaked and roaring with power, the Titan waited, its cannons charged, its shields strong, its crew united. The beast was ready, and soon, the galaxy would learn the price of arrogance. First contact, first strike. The Empire's fleet entered Earth's orbit with full arrogance. Their banners glowed across the void, proud and merciless. Hundreds of battleships and carriers formed a wall of firepower. Their admirals broadcasted a single message to Earth. "Surrender or burn," they declared. Their voices carried laughter, dripping with contempt on the planet below. Fear spread like a storm. Families held each other, knowing the Empire never gave mercy. Governments argued, some whispering surrender, others shouting defiance, but above them all, hidden in the shadows of space, the Titan stirred. The warship emerged from its cloak for the first time. Its black hull gleamed with new power. Energy pulsed along its massive body like veins of lightning. The Empire's scanners picked it up. Their officers laughed again. "The coffin floats at last," they mocked. But Admiral Kor did not laugh. He watched the readings with narrowed eyes. The numbers did not match a broken relic. The energy signature was growing too fast, too strong. On the Titan's bridge, Elias stood calm. His eyes were sharp, his voice steady. He looked at his crew and said, "This is the moment. Let them see the beast they mocked." The rail cannon charged. Its hum grew into a roar. The ship itself seemed to growl with hunger. One of the Empire's destroyers moved closer. Its captain hailed with arrogance, "Earth scum, bow before the Emperor," he sneered. Elias gave no reply. Instead, he lowered his hand. "Fire," he commanded. The Titan's cannon erupted. A streak of blue light split the void. It tore through the destroyer in a single instant. The ship vanished in a burst of fire, debris scattered like dust. Silence followed for the first time. The Empire's laughter died on the Empire's flagship. Officers stared in disbelief. "One shot? It destroyed a destroyer?" They gasped. The Admiral shouted in anger, "Impossible, it was supposed to be dead." But their denial meant nothing. The Titan had shown its fangs on Earth. The people saw the explosion in the sky. They screamed, they cheered, hope replaced despair. Children pointed and shouted, "That's our ship." The forgotten relic was no longer forgotten. It was their savior. The Empire, enraged, unleashed its fleet. Dozens of ships moved forward, weapons glowing. Lasers and plasma streaked through space aimed at the Titan, but the Titan's shields flared alive. Waves of light rippled across its hull. The blasts were absorbed, leaving nothing but sparks. The crew shouted in triumph. "Our shields hold," they cried. Elias wasted no time. "Target the cruisers," he ordered. The Titan's secondary weapons roared. Missiles streaked into the void, guided by ancient AI. 2 cruisers exploded in flames. Another was torn apart by drones swarming like wolves. The Empire's formation shattered. Admirals shouted orders, their arrogance cracking. But the Titan was not done. Its systems unlocked one weapon after another. Plasma turrets, railguns, drones, and more. The beast had fully awakened. Each strike was precise, each shot devastating. The crew moved as one. Guided by Elias's calm commands, Admiral Kor watched in grim silence. He whispered to himself, "They mocked the beast. But the beast is real." He knew the truth now. The Empire had made a mistake it could never erase. They had laughed at Earth, and now their fleets would pay the price. The battle raged on. The Titan tore through wave after wave. Every explosion lit the sky. Every victory lifted human hearts. The Empire had come expecting surrender. Instead, they found defiance. Instead, they found fire. As the wrecks of alien ships drifted across the void, Elias looked out into the stars. "This is only the beginning," he said quietly. "The Empire will not stop, but neither will we." His crew nodded, their faces glowing with determination. The Titan floated forward, its weapons still hot. The first strike had been made. The galaxy would never forget it. The battle of shattered pride. The first strike had shaken the Empire. For the first time in centuries, their fleet had tasted fear. One human warship had destroyed their destroyers and cruisers with ease. The laughter was gone, replaced by silence and rage. Admirals shouted across channels, demanding answers. "How can a dead relic do this?" one cried. Another slammed his fist on the console. "It is a trick." It must be a trick. But the wreckage of burning ships outside told the truth. The Titan was no trick. It was death-given steel and fire. The Emperor's command reached the fleet. No more games, crush them. Erase their planet. And so the full armada surged forward. Hundreds of ships, cannons blazing, weapons screaming. The void itself glowed with fire. On the Titan's bridge, Elias stood tall. His crew looked at him with steady eyes. "We are outnumbered 100 to 1, one whispered. Elias nodded, his voice calm. "Then let them come. For this ship was built for this moment." The battle began with a storm. Plasma beams rained down like fire from the gods. Missiles streaked across the darkness. Explosions lit the sky in blinding bursts. The Titan shook under the impact, shields flashing. The crew held their breath as the readings spiked. But the beast did not break. The shields absorbed the fire. Glowing brighter with every hit, Elias gave his command. "Return fire." The Titan roared. Its rail cannon split another cruiser in half. Its drones swarmed like angry hornets, tearing apart enemy fighters. Plasma turrets lit the void, burning holes through alien hulls. Each strike was merciless, precise, unstoppable. The Empire's admirals screamed in frustration. They are only one ship. One ship, but the Titan fought like a fleet. Its weapons unleashed storms that even the proud armada could not withstand. Dozens of ships vanished in flames. The wrecks floated as monuments to human defiance. Still, the Empire pushed harder. Carriers released waves of fighters. Destroyers closed in from every angle. The Titan was surrounded, a lone island in a sea of enemies. The crew felt the pressure, their hands trembling. But Elias's voice anchored them. "Do not fear the numbers. This ship was built to face them all." The Titan revealed more of its secrets. Hidden compartments opened, releasing swarms of autonomous drones. These were not ordinary machines. They moved with deadly precision, tearing through fighter formations like wolves through sheep. The Empire's pilots screamed as their ships exploded around them. Their arrogance shattered with every loss. On Earth, the people watched from the surface. The sky burned with flashes of light. The battle was like a storm of suns exploding above their heads. Every victory filled them with hope. Every explosion was a promise that humanity would not kneel. Admiral Kor stood on the bridge of his flagship. Silent, he had warned them, he had spoken of pride. Now he watched his fellow admirals die in fire. He whispered to himself, "This is not just a ship. This is vengeance born of silence," but the Empire was not done. Their flagship, 3 times the size of the Titan, moved forward. its cannons charged with power that could tear apart moons. The fleet parted, clearing the way. The true test had arrived, the Titan versus the giant. The relic versus the Empire's pride. Inside the Titan, the crew stared at the readings. "Their flagship is charging weapons," an officer shouted. Ilias's eyes narrowed. "Then we strike first," he said. The rail cannon charged to maximum. The core pulsed with light. The beast itself seemed to growl with fury. The Empire's flagship fired. A beam of energy split the void, rushing toward Earth, but the Titan moved. Faster than the enemy expected, its shields absorbed the impact. Shaking but holding, then came Elias's answer. "Fire everything," he commanded. The Titan unleashed its fury. Cannons, missiles, drones, railguns all at once. The void turned into a storm of destruction. The Empire's flagship staggered, its shields cracking. The beast roared again, firing once more, and the pride of the Empire burned. The battle was not over, but the moment was clear. The Titan had turned the tide. The forgotten relic had become Earth's vengeance. The Empire's arrogance had shattered. The Empire's fall. The wreckage of countless ships drifted through the void. The battle had already scarred the stars, but still the Empire's flagship advanced, a Titan of metal larger than cities. Bristling with weapons, its shadow stretched across Earth. Drowning the skies to the Empire, this was their pride, their answer, their final hammer. The Titan faced it alone, though battered and scarred. Its shield still burned bright. Elias stood on the bridge, his eyes locked on the giant before him. "This is the heart of the Empire," he said, "if we break it. Their power breaks with it." The crew nodded. Their fear replaced by fire. The enemy flagship opened fire. A storm of plasma beams, missiles, and energy waves struck the Titan. The void shook as shields screamed under the pressure. Panels burst with sparks, alarms blared. The crew clung to their stations, refusing to abandon their posts. "Shields at 50%, an officer shouted. Elias's jaw tightened. "Hold steady," he ordered. The beast roared back, unleashing its fury. Rail cannons lit the darkness, drones swarmed like hornets, tearing at the giant's defenses. Missiles streaked into the hull. Exploding in bright blossoms of fire, the flagship staggered. But it did not fall. Its armor was thick. Its shields immense. The duel had begun. And the galaxy watched. On Earth, people held their breath. Every strike lit the sky like thunder. Every explosion shook their hearts. Children cried, elders prayed. All of humanity's hope rested on one ship. One relic turned savior. The flagship charged its superweapon, a core cannon capable of erasing a planet. Its glow spread across the void, a star being born in its heart. Admiral Kor stood on its bridge, silent. He knew the danger, he knew the cost, but his emperor demanded victory, and pride chained him to his orders. Inside the Titan, Elias watched the readings climb. His crew shouted warnings. "They're preparing the core cannon. It will destroy us." Elias remained calm. He looked at his engineers, his pilots, his crew. "This ship was built for this moment," he said. "We have a weapon too, one they cannot imagine." The Titan's core pulsed with ancient power. It was the last secret of its creators, a weapon never tested, never spoken of. They had called it the Singularity Lance, a cannon that bent the very fabric of space, dangerous, unstable, unstoppable. "Prepare the lance," Elias commanded. The crew hesitated, fear in their eyes. "To fire it is to risk the ship itself," one whispered. Elias's voice was firm. "If we do nothing, Earth dies. If we fire, we live." The crew obeyed, their hands steady, their hearts unbroken. The flagship fired first, its core cannon erupted, a beam of death rushing toward Earth. The void screamed as space itself trembled. But the Titan answered. The Singularity Lance ignited, a spear of light brighter than suns tearing through the void. It met the Empire's beam head-on. The clash split the heavens. Energy storms ripped across space. Stars flickered, shadows danced, every living being watching felt the universe shake. And then the Titan's lance broke through. The Empire's beam shattered like glass. The spear of light tore into the flagship. Its shields cracked, its armor melted. The giant screamed in silence as fire consumed it. Admiral Kor closed his eyes, he whispered. "Pride has destroyed us," and the flagship exploded. A sun dying in the void. Silence followed. The Empire's fleet, broken and leaderless, scattered. The arrogant roars of power had turned to whispers of fear. The Titan floated, scarred but victorious. Its hull burned, its shields cracked, but its heart still beat on Earth. The people cried out in joy, the skies lit with victory. The forgotten relic had saved them. Humanity had faced the greatest empire in the stars, and humanity had won. Elias stood at the command chair, his voice quiet but strong. This was not just a battle, he said. This was the fall of arrogance, the rise of humanity. His crew saluted, their eyes shining with pride. The beast had fought, the beast had conquered, and the galaxy would never be the same. And the galaxy itself trembled. The legend of Earth's warship, the battle was over. The void was littered with wreckage, broken ships drifting like silent tombs. The Empire's flagship was gone, erased in fire and light. Its pride had burned away, leaving only ash. The Titan floated among the ruins. Scarred but unbroken, its hull was blackened. Its shield shattered, but its core still pulsed with life. The crew stood in silence, their hearts heavy and proud. They had faced death and they had won. They had taken a forgotten relic and turned it into Earth's salvation. On Earth below, the people cheered. The skies glowed with victory, their fear replaced by hope. Children pointed at the stars and shouted the name of the Titan. Old veterans wept, whispering that humanity had risen again. For the first time in centuries, Earth stood tall. For the first time, they were not prey, they were hunters. Across the galaxy, whispers spread faster than light. Merchants carried stories of the Titan's awakening. Smugglers spoke of an ancient human warship that tore through fleets. Slaves in chains whispered of a world that had stood against the Empire and survived. The legend grew, burning in every corner of space. The forgotten humans were forgotten no more. The Empire itself trembled. Its admirals fought among themselves, seeking to explain the shame its citizens whispered in secret, asking if the Empire was truly invincible. Fear ate at the heart of their power, for if one relic of Earth could destroy them, what else were humans hiding? The arrogance that once made them mighty had become their weakness. Allies and enemies alike sent secret messages to Earth. Some begged for alliances, others warned of revenge, but all of them treated humanity with new eyes. No longer weak, no longer small, humanity had shown its teeth, and the galaxy would never forget it. On the Titan's bridge, Elias looked at his crew. They were tired, scarred, but alive. This ship was once abandoned, he said, but today it became our voice, our roar. Our future, the crew cheered softly. Tears in their eyes. They knew they had written history. They knew their names would never fade. The Titan drifted slowly past the ruins of the Empire's fleet. Its engines glowed faintly, like the breath of a sleeping dragon. Every survivor who saw it carried the image forever. The black warship, scarred yet victorious. The beast that had risen from the grave to humble an empire. Elias placed his hand on the console, feeling the hum beneath his palm. The ship pulsed in answer, alive, waiting. He whispered quietly, "Rest now, but not forever. One day they will come again, and we will be ready." The crew stood in silence, each one knowing the truth. This was not the end, but the beginning. The Titan had become more than a weapon. It was a symbol, a legend, a promise. Every child of Earth would grow up hearing its name. Every alien would whisper it in fear. The beast had awakened, and the galaxy would never laugh at Earth again, and so the relic drifted in the stars. Not forgotten, not abandoned, but eternal. A shadow of steel, a guardian of humanity. The Titan, Earth's warship. The legend that had annihilated an empire. And the promise that humans would never kneel again.